So, first off, what is your name?
Misha Matz, Associate Professor at the Department of Integrative Biology.
Alright, okay. And, okay, well, the next question was what kind of degrees do you have?
PhD.
PhD.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your major undergrad?
Ooh, I was educated. Like all my education
really?
was back in Moscow. Yeah, or really it was.
Whoa.
Things work pretty differently in Moscow, so we don't really get this BS major kind of thing.
So, like,
I was a molecular biology department at the Moscow State University. We get specialized pretty early, so even as you do undergrad, you get kind of a lot of specialty training. You're not just like learning about random stuff. You're actually becoming a professional already. So I was a molecular biologist back then. And now I'm branching out to doing like ecological genomics.
Yeah.
So bringing molecular biology to the evolutionary perspective.
Wait, then what made you decide to come to America? Especially like
Climate! My God, it's just like honestly, this was the most important by far, but especially at the right now I'm kind of a little older and I recognize certain like proper reasons to come to another country. But honestly, I was just so bummed by the climate in Russia for
it's so cold,
3 decades. It's overcast, you know. It's just dreary. It gets on your nerves and like you get kind of depressed for half a year. That's not good for for anything. So I know many people kind of okay with this. It was just really driving me nuts. So I immigrated to Florida.
Wait, when?
It was 2000.
Oh, so
17 years ago.
So you lived in Florida?
For 6 years. Since 2006 I'm here.
Oh, it's very recent.
Yeah, it's actually really recent.
What? It's been more than 10 years.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
Wait, I keep forgetting that's like 2017.
It's 2017, people. Yeah, sometimes it hits me too.
Yeah, well, that's crazy. Okay, and so why did you decide to like pursue this profession? Like,
I can distinctly remember when I decided to become a biologist. I was probably like 12, and it was it was a result of watching like Jacques Cousteau documentaries and reading some books which were like exploration sites and stuff. So I was kind of trying to get myself into this line of work ever since I was a kid, pretty much.
wow.
So, yeah.
And like
There I am.
And like you still love it. You're still like
Yeah. Well,
passionate about it.
I had a little bit of a walkabout. You know, I dropped out of grad school. There was a thing, and I went out to like play music in a jazz band. I realized that I'm not really good at that. Yeah, but I tried this. You know, it's important to try these things which you think. Otherwise, I would be still like thinking, oh, maybe I should have really become a jazz musician. Really, it's like my talent is wasted here in this office. I know that it's not. Now I'm absolutely sure because I did that. Done. Moving on. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that aside, this is what I really do well.
Well, and
So
you like it.
And I do like it. Yeah. I guess it's very lucky for you to actually find something which you both like and you're really good at.
Yeah,
That's really awesome.
That's really.
I'm pretty happy with this.
So like, what is like your usual like day-to-day basis usually? Like, like you wake up, you come here. What do you usually do?
Well, one good thing about academia is that kind of free schedule. If I'm not teaching any classes, which I sometimes have to do, sometimes not, you're kind of free. I mean, you set up your own schedule, you manage your own. I have a lab, so I have grad students. We have to do certain things together, like reading groups, seminars, and like discussing this. So it's not like you can like just not show up for work at all unannounced. But actually, this is so whatever works for you the best. I mean, that's the great thing about academia is actually at some point you get pretty much complete freedom.
Like
You do whatever you want, and they value you for the craziness of the things you come up with. The more unusual are the things which coming up to your head, the more valued you are. That's pretty awesome, right? So you have to have certain like responsibilities. So you have to teach, you have to give your best to the students, you have to mentor your graduate students, which is I see myself as that's my primary role. It's like raising the next generation of scientists in my lab. But then you can plan your day as you wish, and here I'm probably not doing such a good job because I could have had like a more strict, like 8:30 this, like 8:45 that. This probably would help me, but I'm kind of I'm kind of winging it. Overall, in general, at some point before 10 I'm here. Right. This kind of stuff. Unless I have a meeting planned. Very long answer for what you think was a very easy question. Sorry.
I thought you were good. I was just curious. That's why. Okay. Wait. So, do you have any like current research? Like, are you doing anything currently?
We have a lot of projects in parallel going on. As I said, I have graduate students in my lab. Right now there are 4 of them. 3 of them are graduating, defending PhD this year. I only have 4 graduate students right now. Right, I don't have a big lab, but each of them publishes like 1 or 2 papers a year, so we have a lot of scientific output like this. So we have a lot of projects which are going on in parallel, which is related to understanding adaptation of reef-building corals to climate change.
Really?
They're in danger.
That is
At
so
the genomic
cool.
level. So we're trying to see what helps them tolerate whatever's coming their way right now. You probably heard all the troubles Great Barrier Reef is right now under. It's pretty bad. We also find that it's just very fun organism to work with. It's there is a lot you can do with this experimentally. It's pretty much ecologically relevant, of course, because coral reefs are a foundation of the biodiversity in the sea and a bunch of human economy as well. Plus, we just find that really it's a good model for the questions we want to ask. How animals adapt to variable and changing environment at the genomic level. How their genomic makeup allows them to meet those challenges. So we have specific projects. Some are related to acclimatization and mechanisms of how you can get used to the new environment if you're placed in it. Adaptation is genetic or what natural selection does across, say, Great Barrier Reef or broader, just generally tropics where the corals live, to the genome and how it plays out into future potential for survival of the corals and the climate change. We also look at smaller projects, like exactly what happens with these species in a particular area, and we can, from genomics, we can reconstruct how much migration is going on and how large were the coral reefs in the past. Correlate this with, say, glacial cycles and stuff. There's a lot of fun things you could do with this genomic data these days. It's really fun to play with. So a lot of what we do in the lab is not just field work. All these maps are my field sites. So, but a lot of just basically big data analysis, genomic stuff, and statistics. I find it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to do this. Again, I'm on the rant.
No, go ahead. So, how long have you been doing research?
As I said, I was trying to get into science ever since I was about 12. Seriously doing my own research, I started as an undergrad on my second year.
Undergrad?
Like just try volunteer for different labs, like trying out, oh, here's the lab, whoa, what do you do here? I said, oh, we're studying, like, the first project I ever was doing was chemotaxis in bacteria, the molecular mechanisms of them sensing chemical cues in the environment. Back then it was a hot area, and then they figured it out by now, of course, but it was a fun thing to do, like experiments. And so, I was very sure that I want to be a scientist. That's one thing which is kind of my advantage, right? And my good luck that I figured out that I'm going to be a scientist pretty early.
Very
With one
early.
little deviation
Yeah.
towards jazz I already mentioned, but overall I basically did not have any doubts. So it was pretty clear for me how I should work.
I wish I was like that.
I know. Same.
This
I'm
is,
the
I
same.
know this does not happen too often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like really, really rare.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow. Wait,
Yeah.
so out of all your
Like it.
research, what has been like the most like really cool one that you've liked?
There is a lot of cool field work sometimes, like my favorite field work project was in Micronesia. People typically don't even know where that is.
Yeah,
It's
I've never
just north of the equator towards between Hawaii and Philippines, closer to Philippines. It's a tiny smattering of tiny little islands over there. The project was to visit as many of them as we can and sample corals there and analyze their genetic relationships between different islands.
Wait, so how long were you there?
Overall, my lab spent like 3 months out there because first I went there, then like one student of mine, then another student of mine. We're just like, covering, tracking each other's and like doubling up, collecting more and more samples. This was really great field work. It's really like adventure when you when you really need to act as an explorer. You like get off the plane in this little island and you stand in the middle of the tropical island and you don't know anything and you need to figure out where the boats are, where the facilities, who will take you out, where are the people who will sign your permits. Very important, right? You need to do everything by the book. So just like these challenges feels me like a little bit like a Darwin beagle trip, you know.
Wait, was that kind of dangerous? No?
No, not really.
No?
No, man. This place is pretty okay. The only dodgy place where I've been there was Chuk, and there I was just lucky enough to associate myself with the right gang, and so we will just it's gang stuff. Yeah, and Chuk, it's pretty dodgy.
Where's that?
That's smack in the middle. It's a big atoll with a lot of Japanese time wrecks in there, but it's just such that the politics across these islands vary a lot, and so the local governments and the maintenance of the islands are very different. So some islands are like tropical paradises, some are like okay, the happy-go-lucky but third world type, and some are just ghettos. So Chuk is the ghetto.
3 kinds of islands.
That sounds scary or kind of like, ugh, you know?
Well, it must be better right now. I mean, this project is also more than 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so if somebody from Chuk is actually watching it right now, I actually enjoyed it massively. This was one of the most wonderful field work with gangsters. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's different, which I like. Wait, so you said that you work with students, right?
What's called what?
Like your research was like with students a lot? You know?
Students, yes.
So, like, what were like the pros and cons of doing that?
Well, as I said, a graduate student is the person who does most of the research in my lab.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's that they develop and lead and monitor and responsible for their own projects. I try to make them their own owners of their own little research direction, which they need to like write little proposals for, need to get some support, need to write the manuscripts, need to hire undergrads to help them do the lab work. I try to make them and supervise and train them, so they're basically acting as a professor, as a mini professor under me. They then publish the manuscripts, deal with the reviewers, and so they basically, by the time they've done this a few times for a couple of papers that they put out, and they kind of like, you know, they are the directors of their little movies and I'm just the producer. I'm just telling them that's generally you should do this, and if they hit some snag, kind of just because I help them kind of get over the bumps, but I try to make them do their own stuff, and I try to achieve the situation where a student, when they defend, they're pretty much ready to run their own lab right now because they've done it right.
Yeah.
In here. Yeah. So. That's graduate students. With undergrads, I mostly just try to convey the excitement, right? Because for undergrads, the biggest problem with undergrads, they don't know what they want to be when they grow up.
Yeah, that's so true.
And this is the major problem which everybody needs to solve in their lives. So I'm trying to kind of show my little angle, which is I enjoy it. It totally can be enjoyed for a variety of reasons. If you feel like you might be, it might be a good idea to try yourself out as a scientist. Yeah, you should go approach some labs you're interested in and just ask for some volunteer tasks.
Wait, then right now, what classes do you teach?
Right now I'm teaching evolution. It's a big undergrad class, and I'm teaching ecological genomics, which is a very small graduate level class.
Do you like it?
Oh yeah, I like teaching actually.
Really?
Yeah, it's fun.
So at your time here at UT, what was your biggest conflict? You feel like?
Conflict?
Yeah. Like, have you had any like conflict?
On a personal level with people around me at the university, I must say this is a very peaceful and collegial department. We really don't have, I mean, this is just the department that we have. People are very open, and they basically never fight, and there is never like a big ugly problem or so, I don't know, never, I know. So, I heard some terrible stories from other places, but we never had any sort of problematic. You feel very comfortable and safe and relaxed working here. The only problem is between the most strongest, worst emotional things is when you submit a grant proposal or 2 or 3 or 5 and they all turn down one after another, which happens a lot because come on, you're writing 15 pages and you ask for $1 million, and there is actually a good chance to get it. Well, not such a good, but there is a chance to get $1 million for writing 15 pages. This is a great deal. I mean, yeah, right. So it's a game worth playing, even though 90% of time it doesn't work. But sometimes it's just, oh my God, this is like my brainchild. I would put so much effort into this, and these guys didn't even read it. I mean, at least that's how you feel when on the day you actually receive a rejection.
Yeah.
This is very hard, but you get used to it eventually and just take it as oh, I'm playing a computer game, which is just hard. Occasionally the monsters are kind of bad and you need to kind of beef up and get through this, to keep persistent and don't give up. And so, but yeah, this is the only emotional really challenge that we have in our work. Many people will, in my position, many PIs leading research will bitch about this endlessly, because for some people it's really a big source of anxiety and worry.
Here?
It's you anywhere, because it's all about funding for your own research. If you want to support your graduate student with something, you want to do some reasonable research, you need some funding, right? And so to get this funding under current budget climate, it's very hard. It's 5% of all the grants get funded. So the game is hard, but 5%. The game is very hard, but as I said, 15 pages, $1 million. God, yes. I'm going to play that. Yeah.
That is so true. Wait, okay, so have you ever had a great idea, but then someone told you that you couldn't pursue it?
A lot.
Yeah? Really?
Yeah, I have a lot of great ideas. I mean, that's how you get your research done, because if you don't have a good idea, this paper is not going to be published, nobody will get any grants.
Yeah.
Nobody will get any patents. I have quite a few. I used to develop techniques for genomic analysis all my life, and this is a little bit of a tinkering I enjoy as a biotechnologist. Yeah, there's a lot of that's it. This whole thing is driven by good ideas. Something which something which propels, kind of opens the doors, kind of bridges the gap, allows people to do something they could not have done before.
I think that's why the occupation scientist is everlasting job, since we have infinite amount of ideas.
It's true.
Yeah, we've never been limited by the number of ideas my lab generates, because we have all my students are very good, right? So we have a lot of interaction, like every week, little brainstorming, informal and informal settings as well. So.
Wait, so you said earlier that you dropped out of grad school
Uh-huh.
and you became a part of a jazz band. So like, what made you? So like, the reason why you did that was because you thought like in your head, oh, I think I want to do this.
Because I thought I might have been actually predestined to be a great musician. So I gave it a shot and realized that no, I wasn't.
See, like, even
I
though
was
you
not
said-
really good at music.
So like, even though you said that like you want to be a scientist, even since you were
Yes, but occasionally you have this kind of I could do some, could play the guitar and sing when I was a teenager, and some people liked it. So I thought maybe I should pursue this a little bit. If I did not do this little side track or walkabout, as I think about this right now,
you said,
I would have been probably still having in the back of my mind this nagging thought that I might have missed my life's opportunity. Now I know that I didn't. So I recommend walkabouts to everyone. Yeah, it's really hard. It's really like bad idea to if you really think you should try something, go ahead and try, because otherwise it will just bug you for the rest of your life.
True.
So
Yeah.
wait, so what is your favorite part about this job that you have? Like your most favorite part?
Freedom.
Really?
As I said, freedom. It's one job where you have complete freedom. What you teach, how you teach, what kind of research you do. It's like in general to like small things, when and how come to work and where to set up, I don't know, meetings and your work schedule. Where do you go to do your field research? Like everything is, it's up to you. There is nobody to tell you what to do.
At all.
At all. At all.
Even
Imagine,
like-
there is nobody above me who tells me what to do. And ever since I was a grad student, all my grad students are basically, they're doing their own thing already.
Wow.
So I'm just helping them, right?
So you
To do what they want.
Yeah. So like you have time to do
Yeah.
interviews like this.
So.
Like, wow. That's awesome. Okay. I think the last question is, if you could give any advice to undergrad students, what do you think it would be?
I think I already kind of said my best advice as a result. Well, the biggest problem is to figure out what you want to be when you grow up.
Yeah.
Start trying things out, not just sit and think about them, but just do something about this, because it does take time to try different life occupations. Don't be afraid to spend like 3 years on doing something and then decide that it's probably not good and switch to something else. While you are still an undergrad and in your 20s, you have time. So just make sure you explore whatever could be. And so whatever could be your life's occupation, where you are, what you really like and what you're really good at. This is the combination you need to find. So that's the other thing. And also I would like to say that academic science is the only thing which I really know how it works, and I really like it, and the main reason is that it gives you freedom.
Okay. Thank you very much.
This was a very, very good interview.
This is great. Wow. I'm so like intrigued by like your work.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. No, like honestly, I am. Thank you so much.
No worries.